Things I wish I knew when I started learning coding. Like, how do you start? How do you keep enjoying it? So these are the questions that pop up in my mind. These are the questions that I often get asked. So today I'd like to share a couple of tips and advice on coding in general and software engineering. So if you're new here, I'm Francis Adedran, and on this channel, I talk about software engineering, I talk about topics that range from coding, career advice, design patterns, software architecture, tooling, and so on. So if you're interested in any of these topics, make sure you click that subscribe button and you'll be the first to notify whenever I post any video. Okay, now let's get back to the topic. Now, things I wish I knew when I started learning coding. Well, there's a couple of things I wish I knew, and hopefully over the course of this video, I'll be able to share some very useful advice so that you don't actually end up making the same mistake or go through the same hurdle as I did. Okay, so let's do it. So the first one is to have the right mindset. And this is the mindset to say, like, it's not hard, it's just new. Okay, so when you're learning programming, the first time you're going to start doing it, it is important for you to adopt a mindset that it is a skill, just like playing a game, you know, applying a makeup, cooking, riding your bike, you know, learning how to use a phone. Everything is all a skill. And the more you practice, the more you get comfortable with it, the more you know it, the more you master it, you know, and the same thing goes for programming. So whenever you get into programming, just adopt that mindset that it's not hard, it's just new, okay? And the more I do this, the more comfortable I get with it, you know? And another thing I like to mention is that in programming, also with almost anything in general, 80% of it is mental and 20% is just capability. So if you come in with the right mindset, everything just follows through, okay? So just keep that in mind. All right, next one is that your code is never going to be perfect. A lot of people get stuck in this. Charlie, I've seen this. I've been there myself, especially coming from a computer science background. You know, we were taught to actually make sure our code to have the right principles, you know, follow this particular pattern, make sure it's all effective, it's all efficient, all those sort of things. It's good to have that, but when you start coding, actually in the initial phase, and also when you start a new project entirely, you know, focus on just getting it done. You know, don't focus on trying to make it perfect, you know, trying to adopt as many principles or the best practices as possible. Don't do that. Just get it working. No one really cares about beautiful code if it doesn't work. You know, if you can do the same thing within 20 minutes and it takes you 3 hours to make it beautiful and still achieve the same result, no one likes that. And most employers won't like that, you know. They won't like it to say like, oh yeah, listen, make it beautiful, but you know, it's still the same outcome. So it is always important to have that mindset and not to actually get intimidated as well, you know. Get your code working and start optimizing it, you know, building on top of it, refactoring it. We maybe push it out for code review, let other people look at it, and then take the advice on board and just keep building on it, you know. But the main thing, just not to get in that perfectionism mindset in a way. And also, you know, I think there's an article online that says like most big companies like Google, they rewrite their entire code base like every few years, you know, because technology is always evolving, you know. So just keep in mind that your code doesn't have to be perfect. Make sure you focus on getting things working as quickly as possible, and then you can refactor and build on things later on. Okay, so next one is, I love this one. This is about having a pet project, okay? So whenever you're learning, it's easy for you to actually get into that learning monk mode, you know, just keep learning. Yes, I know this now. I know about data types. I know about loops. I know about that. I know about React. I know about this. But you always, I would advise you to always put whatever you learn to practice. And the best way to do that is you have a pet project. A pet project is basically a project around something that you like, let's say you like gaming, or you like makeup, or you like football, right? If you're learning Java, if you're learning Python, if you're learning a new language, whatever it is, and, write something around that, and just continuously build on it. My first pet project was just a project that just gets me the latest score, of the day, So I built a small website that just runs on my app. I mean, it runs on my phone, it runs on desktop, it runs online, and basically just give me the latest score in what's happening in football. I go on it and it gives me the latest score. So something like that. And it doesn't have to be complicated or, or simple, whatever it is, just make sure that whatever you're learning, put into practice. And a pet project is a good way to do that, So the main thing is just to know the basic, So if you're learning new things today, or if you learn about a for loop, how can I use that, put on your pet project and start building on top of that. So in that way, you learn, and also you also put what you learn into practice, because coding is a practical skill. You have to put into practice, not just about learning and knowing everything. You have to be able to use what you've learned. So my advice is to continue, just keep doing that, keep putting what you do, what you're learning into practice, and best way to do that is a pet project. Okay. Next one is to focus on the project, focus on what you're trying to build, not the technology. So yeah, actually, in our realm, in the programming world, there's so many languages, there's so many tools, there's always a fancy new thing coming out. There's always a fancy new language, The main thing is just not to focus, it's good to be aware of them, but do not put a lot of your focus on the technology, because at the end of the day, it's just a tool, Just remember that your technology or your programming language is just a tool. And your tool, you basically use it to solve a problem, No, it's just like, I don't know, it's just like, I don't know, having a phone, Yes, you have an iPhone, Samsung, Android, or Google phone, and they sell all types of phone, but basically what you want from a phone is for me to be able to pick up a phone, pick up a call, maybe use the internet on it, or look at the apps on it. As long as you can fulfill all those objectives, it is a phone, And yes, the fancy thing comes afterwards, but the objective should be there, So just focus on the project. Even when you go into a company, focus on what you're doing, how you're achieving it, and the language should be secondary. Whatever technology that you're using should be secondary. There's many ways to slice the bread, So like focus on that, and that will really help you a lot in just like achieving, just being content, and being valuable wherever you go. So try not to learn all the languages. That's what I'm saying. And just remember that it's just a tool, okay? The next thing that I'll say is to practice with patience, okay? So a lot of people, when they get into programming, they get really frustrated quickly. They write something and there's an error on the page and it doesn't work, and they get, they get agitated. The main thing is to have patience. You need a lot of patience when programming. You need, as I said initially, you need the right mindset. It is going to work, and you need patience. If today all you can write is a line of code, be content. You've done well. You've done better than yesterday. You're a better person, a well knowledgeable person than yourself yesterday. So congratulate, just congratulate yourself and keep learning, and be patient with things. It takes time. So for me, it took me years and years for me to master this. Even as I've been programming for, like, let's say 15 years now, there's still things that are still new, there's still things I still have to learn, So like my main aim is just like, be patient whenever you're learning, and just keep doing it, keep doing it. Consistency is the key. Okay. Next advice I give is to have a mentor. You know, this is very important as well. I didn't have a mentor when I started. And I mean, the moment I got a mentor, there was a huge difference in my career and also my vision as well, in such a way that basically a mentor is just someone that's just been there, you know, maybe someone that's maybe more senior than you, because they're like, you know, they've run the battle, they've faced the challenges, and you know, and things that maybe the order that you're facing right now, they've probably faced it as well. And it's just, they're just good to have. You know, I would highly recommend one. If you need a mentor, you can get in touch with me. You can, you know, message me on Twitter or YouTube, you know, or maybe on my website. You know, I would gladly, you know, try and be your mentor and help you. But the main thing is just like, you need a mentor. You know, everyone needs someone to look up to. You know, the mentor is like a time machine, you know. You're like your future self. They've run the battle, you know. They could give you an advice on things that you're facing now. So you know, make sure you get a mentor, you know, and you can find a mentor in your company, you know, where, you know, even on YouTube, you know, or even on Twitter, whatever. Just say like, hey, would you mind being my mentor? This is what I'm working on, you know, and then, you know, most people would gladly help, because someone as a mentor, so I've been a mentor, I learn as well. I learn from other people, because the more you teach, the more you kind of like, you know, just harness whatever you've learned before. So like, yes, get a mentor. You know, they've been there. They're like 1,000 hours ahead of you. So like, that's the best advice. One of the best advice I give you. Okay. I think that's mainly it. Okay, cool. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up, share with your friends and co-workers, and subscribe if you want similar videos like this. I'll be talking about, you know, all sort of technology. Like I'll be coding live on this YouTube video, on this YouTube channel, and you know, and hope to see you soon. Leave a comment for anything. You know, if you have any more tips and advice for new aspiring developers, leave a comment below. And have a good day and keep coding.